Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
The Dodgers are sitting on a decision right now that's going to define whether this front office is truly as brilliant as everyone claims, or if they're about to make the kind of mistake that haunts organizations for a decade. We're talking about River Ryan, and before you dismiss this as just another prospect discussion, understand that what happens with this kid over the next few weeks is going to tell us everything we need to know about how serious Los Angeles is about sustained dominance versus short-term glory. This isn't speculation. This is reading the market signals that are screaming at us right now if we're paying attention. River Ryan came out of nowhere in 2024, a converted position player from college who the Dodgers development system transformed into a legitimate pitching prospect. He threw exactly 4 games at the major league level before Tommy John surgery shut him down for all of 2025. 4 games. That's the entirety of his big league resume. And yet right now, his name carries more trade value than pitchers with years of established production. That tells you something important about how other organizations view both his ceiling and the Dodgers' ability to identify and develop talent. When teams see a Dodgers pitching prospect, they assume there's real substance there because the track record speaks for itself. But here's where it gets interesting from a pure asset management perspective. The Dodgers rotation heading into next season is absolutely stacked. Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, and the anticipated return of Shohei Ohtani to the mound after his recovery. That's not just a good rotation. That's potentially the most expensive and talented collection of starting pitching ever assembled on one roster. In that context, where exactly does River Ryan fit? Is he a luxury depth piece, insurance against the inevitable injuries that plague every pitching staff? Or is he the exact kind of asset you leverage when you have the opportunity to upgrade at a premium position? The name everyone's whispering about in connection with Ryan is Tarik Skubal. The Tigers' left-hander just won the Cy Young Award and represents exactly the kind of elite talent that doesn't become available often. Detroit isn't giving him away for scraps. Any deal would require a significant package, and the consensus emerging from league sources is that Detroit has strong interest in Emmett Sheehan as the centerpiece. But to get a deal across the finish line, to make an offer Detroit simply cannot refuse, River Ryan becomes the sweetener that transforms a good proposal into an irresistible one. That's the reality of how blockbuster trades get constructed at the highest level. From a pure win-now perspective, the logic is airtight. Skubal is proven, he's durable, he's left-handed, and he's in his prime. Trading Ryan means exchanging potential for certainty, swapping the risk of Tommy John recovery for the guarantee of elite production. When you're the Dodgers and your championship window is wide open right now, that calculation makes perfect sense. You don't build dynasties by hoarding prospects and hoping they develop. You build them by aggressively consolidating talent when the opportunity presents itself, even if it means parting with players who might become stars elsewhere. That's uncomfortable, but it's also how winning organizations operate. The counter-argument deserves serious consideration, though, because the risks here are substantial and very real. By moving both Ryan and Sheehan, the Dodgers would be systematically depleting their pipeline of young, cost-controlled pitching. That pushes the organization further into a model built almost entirely on expensive veteran arms with significant injury histories. Glasnow has been brilliant when healthy, but staying healthy has been his challenge throughout his career. Snell is elite, but comes with his own durability questions. Even Yamamoto, as talented as he is, we're still learning what a full season workload looks like for him at the major league level. If you trade away your young depth pieces and then watch your expensive rotation hit the injured list repeatedly, you've created a nightmare scenario where you have neither present production nor future options. There's also the psychological dimension of watching River Ryan potentially blossom into an ace somewhere else while wearing a different uniform. That's the kind of outcome that defines front office legacies in the worst possible way. Imagine Ryan comes back from Tommy John surgery, throwing harder than before, develops into a perennial all-star in Detroit, while the Dodgers are scrambling to patch together a rotation depleted by injuries and age. That's not a hypothetical disaster scenario. That's a very plausible outcome based on both historical Tommy John recovery rates and the injury patterns we've seen from veteran pitchers. The recovery statistics from Tommy John are generally positive, but they're far from guaranteed, and even successful recoveries can result in diminished stuff or command issues. What makes this decision so fascinating is that there's no obviously correct answer. Both paths carry legitimate risk and legitimate upside. Keeping Ryan is betting on biology and development, trusting that he'll return to full strength and provide years of cheap elite production. Trading him for Skubal is betting on maximizing the current window, accepting the future cost in exchange for guaranteed present dominance. These are the exact kinds of decisions that separate competent front offices from elite ones, and we're about to find out which category Andrew Friedman really belongs in. The broader context matters here too. The Dodgers aren't just trying to win in 2026, they're trying to build something historically unprecedented. 3 consecutive World Series titles would cement this era as one of the greatest dynastic runs in baseball history. That kind of achievement requires bold moves and acceptance of risk, playing it safe, hoarding prospects, being conservative with your assets. That's not how you reach the absolute pinnacle of the sport. You have to be willing to make the uncomfortable call, to trade the promising kid before he becomes the established star, to leverage every advantage while your window is open. But there's also wisdom and restraint in recognizing that sustainable success requires constantly replenishing your talent pipeline. The Yankees in the late 90s and early 2000s won multiple championships while also developing and retaining young core pieces. The recent Astros dynasty has been built on a foundation of homegrown talent supplemented by strategic veteran additions. Completely emptying your farm system in pursuit of immediate gratification can work, but it can also leave you vulnerable when age and injuries inevitably catch up to your expensive veteran core. That's the tension the Dodgers are navigating right now. Here's what we know for certain. Whatever decision gets made regarding River Ryan will be calculated, data-driven, and based on information we don't have access to from the outside. The medical evaluations on Ryan's recovery, the internal projections on his development timeline, the proprietary analytics on Skubal's sustainability, the alternative trade scenarios being explored simultaneously, all of that factors into a decision tree that's far more complex than the binary choice it appears to be from the outside. The Dodgers have earned credibility through their track record, but that doesn't make them infallible, and the stakes on this particular call are absolutely enormous. The fascinating part is that we'll have our answer soon. This isn't a decision that can be delayed indefinitely. Spring training is approaching, rosters are being finalized, and trade opportunities close quickly in the current market environment. If Ryan gets moved, we'll know the front office prioritized present championship probability over future sustainability. If he stays, we'll know they believe either that his upside is too valuable to trade or that the cost to acquire Skubal was simply too high to justify. Either way, this decision will define the next era of Dodgers baseball, and we're all going to be living with the consequences for years to come. Pay very close attention to what happens next, because this is organizational philosophy in action, and it's going to teach us everything we need to know about how champions actually think.